Hi, it's Barb, Meeple PhD, coming to you again with another Cosmic Game Connection. This time I saw these amazing images taken by a pair of rovers bouncing over the surface of an asteroid. They were the first ever probes to travel the surface of an asteroid. The two probes are called Horned Owl and Owl, and they hopped a ride aboard the Hayabusa 2 spacecraft, which was launched by the Japanese space agency JAXA back in 2014. This past summer, Hayabusa 2 arrived at its target, the Ryugu asteroid. Ryugu is a C-type asteroid, which is thought to be more primitive than some of its asteroid cousins. By studying these C-type asteroids, we can start to learn a bit more about the environment in which Earth and our other planets were formed. All of the planets have changed significantly since they were first formed in the solar system. But these asteroids, they're the leftover bits when those planets were formed, and they've changed very little. So by studying them, we can learn about that early solar system. Hayabusa 2's goal is to grab a sample of the surface and bring it back here to Earth for us to study. But it hasn't done that yet. It's planned for later this year, and it will return in 2020. First, they want to understand a bit more about the gravity and the surface of this asteroid. And that's one thing that those rovers are going to help with. Horned Owl and Owl are each about the size of this dog dish, and they weigh about 2.5 pounds. They're equipped with a stereo camera, a wide field camera, and a thermometer. But note that they don't have wheels. From what I understand, the fear was that with wheels they would achieve escape velocity when they started moving and float away from the asteroid. Instead, they have a little motor inside that allows them to bounce, and they don't achieve escape velocity when they do that. With each bounce, they get about 15 minutes of air time and travel about 15 meters. It is truly remarkable to think that not only did we land these little rovers on an asteroid, but they are bouncing around the surface, telling us more than we could ever imagine to learn from orbiting the asteroid alone. When I thought about these two rovers bouncing around the surface of this asteroid, the game that came to mind was Rocky Road a la mode. In Rocky Road a la mode, players are ice cream truck drivers, circling a neighborhood trying to satisfy the ice cream needs of customers. On their turn, a player can take one of three actions. They can supply up their truck with ice cream, they can attract customers to their truck, or they can pass out ice cream to those customers. As they do this, they move their truck a set number of spaces based on the action in the neighborhood, often bouncing over the trucks of their competitors. Now, turns in this game don't just move around the table like a traditional game. Instead, they're based on your position, your truck's position in the neighborhood. Whoever's truck is furthest behind takes the next turn, and often can get more than one turn depending on how far behind they are. The game is played with a multi-purpose deck of cards. On each card, it shows you the ice cream that you can pass out to customers, the customers who you can satisfy, and then some bonuses that attach to your truck, including loyalty points and bonus treats. You can also get loyalty points by collecting sets of bonus treats. The first player to reach 9 loyalty points triggers the end of the game. Any players whose trucks are behind that player's in the neighborhood gets a chance to catch up, taking turns until their truck surpasses the player who triggered the game end. At that point, whoever has the most loyalty points wins the game. Now, this isn't the only game that uses this turn mechanism where when someone is furthest behind on a specific track, they get the next turn. Games like Patchwork and Takedo use a similar mechanism. However, the idea of these little trucks traveling around a neighborhood, bouncing over one another, is what brought to mind those rovers to me. And just like the rovers, you want to be careful not to get too much momentum, because if you bounce too far ahead of your competitors, they get several turns until you're back in the game. So the next time you bring out Rocky Road a la mode, and you're bouncing one of your trucks over your competitors, take just just a second and marvel about those two rovers that are bouncing over the surface of Ryugu, telling us more and more about the surface of an asteroid. Thanks for joining me. If you have any questions about the science or the game that I presented here, feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer some of them. I'll come at you again with another Cosmic Game Connection soon. And in the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as @MeeplePhD, and you can follow my blog at meeplephd.com. Nope, it's not a satellite. It is an asteroid.